Yo, what up, Taz fam? It's Mike from 424recording.com. Welcome to the 424 Recording live stream every Wednesday here at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're catching the replay, you can always watch it 1.5x or 2x fast to get through everything we chatted about. And check out the live chat replay. It's always available now, so that's cool. I'm joined with my buddy and partner in crime, Jay Anderson of Operation Audio Hemisphere.
Yo.
Straight Ellen tonight. And yeah, we're about to get things started over here. So, welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you're part of the Task Fam hanging out each week. And yeah, we're gonna get going. Coop, what up? Good to see you. Just getting it set up. So yeah, we had a pretty big day today, Jay. We actually hung out.
Yeah.
That was cool. It's been a while since I was up at the studio. We used to do that like once a week for a while. We were working on stuff and we were working on those tracks.
Is it still as funky as you remember?
I think it's gotten a little funkier.
Great.
But in the best way possible.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so
That's why we burn Palo Santo. Try to keep the
that
funk out.
stuff is good. Wait, so
I know I'm like soaked in it right now.
I know, me too. It smells so good. So what were you saying though about the you said there was some kind of funk that has like there's like you said it was getting like stagnant or something?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like I feel like it's you spend like a whole summer in a place like there's like mad humidity and like a whole bunch of sweaty, stankin' motherfuckers up there working like as often as possible. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like there gets to be a funk, so you got to replace the funk with some of the Palo Santo does a really good job of soaking into everything if you burn it for a little while.
Yeah.
So that usually takes care of it.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime, everything dries up. And
so it's really because of the influx of
clientele and smelly, and also the humidity. I'm telling you,
punks coming in to record.
Yeah.
I don't know, I do my water bottle.
It's not like it's fucking nasty up there. It's just, I don't know. It feels like the
air
always seems stagnant to me when I go up there.
Oh, weird. I've never had that experience at your studio. I always thought it was really nice. It's a nice escape.
It feels like it needs fresh air ventilation or something, but in lieu of that, because I'm not opening the windows when it's like 85-90% humidity outside.
Yeah.
It's already disgusting everywhere. I'd rather retain the air conditioning at least and be cool.
But I mean, like you shut down all there's no like climate control, really, right?
Just the
or is that those are on like 24?
No, they're on usually 24 hours ahead of when I'm going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Except for today, because I knew it was going to rain today and it wouldn't be that hot. So
yeah, it was
turn
nice
it on
today.
Until we actually
it was fine. It was cool. It was like very cozy in there today. It's always really cozy, but today it was like.
But if I know there's going to be like, 5 or 6 people hanging out up there, I make sure that I'm air conditioning for 24 hours or more ahead of time.
Yeah. That many people. Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets hot fast with everybody in that close proximity.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, bodies generate a lot of heat and all that hot air.
40 spaces of burning rack gear also tends to generate quite a lot of heat.
I notice even with the small amount of stuff I have too. Maybe it's the lights, but it gets hot. The Apollo stuff too, man. That stuff runs hot.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that.
Those 2 racks, if you let them run about midday, they're really putting off quite a bit of heat.
Yeah. Hey, twin, what's up?
Yo, what's going on?
We got Coop. Coop said I'm not busy tonight, so I can actually hang. Awesome.
Nice.
Glad to have you. Twin, what up? Yeah, we just been chatting. Jay and I was hanging out today. We're talking about the stankness
of studios in summer.
No, but that's a really good point. I feel like each one of those rack units, it just multiplies like exponentially.
Well, if you figure every one of those units is running better than lukewarm, and lukewarm is 100-ish degrees.
Yeah.
Let's say. So you got a whole rack full of things putting out 100-ish degrees.
Yeah. Because you have like
That's a lot.
Each one of those racks, there's what, 15?
There's 20 spaces in each rack.
Oh my god. Yeah.
The first rack with the interfaces, when I'm doing a full drum session, all but 2 units are powered up. And then when there's a mix session going, the other rack, when you flip it on, I think there's 13 things that come to life when you flip that switch. So.
Hey, I have a question for you. This actually brings up one of my first questions for you of the evening. So I heard that when you leave equipment on, is there any science to like keeping? So I've heard some people say that like transistors, resistors, whatever, they like break them in, or they're like really if they keep them warm all the time, there's like a better sound, or like some people claim that the older Boss pedals sound better because they've been turned on so many times. I've seen people who like will like just leave their pedal board on 24/7 because they're like, oh yeah, it breaks in the resistors sound better the more hotter they get. Okay, that's
bullshit. Resistors do change value with heat, but if you got a resistor that's generating enough heat to be swinging its value to a point where you can hear there's probably something wrong.
There's no
in the old shit, like old amps and stuff with carbon comp resistors in them, those once they reach a certain temperature sound completely different. So if you have an amp that's from the 60s or whatever, and you fire it up and it sounds like shit until you hit about the 45-minute mark and it starts to really smooth out, that's why those resistors they need to be replaced.
Yeah, like tube amps, the warming up of them. Yeah,
but it's not just the tubes that warm up in the tube amp that change the sound. It's the carbon comp resistors.
Okay, yeah, just the older components. Yeah, because I've heard things about that with people saying, like I said, like people with like older pedals.
Here's the other thing: every electrolytic capacitor ever used in a piece of electronic equipment has a quoted life cycle. That's how many hours it can spend powered up before its life expectancy has been eclipsed.
Yeah, so
if your Boss pedal is built with a 10,000 hour cap, which is being generous, and you leave that pedal powered up all the time, all you're doing is shortening that lifespan.
Right.
That's it. You'll never recap a Boss pedal because nobody recaps pedals. But
where do you think these kinds of rumors or tall tales, wives' tales, urban legends?
It comes out of this turning mill that I like to call bullshit.
We should do a new series. You know what's bullshit? I just
that would be fucking brilliant.
I think that's like a Penn and Teller.
Well, yeah, that show's bullshit. Yeah.
Actually,
bullshit.
It's just funny because sometimes you just never know what the truth is. Like I feel like sometimes people make these things up and.
Well, there's definitely truth to the fact that components can change sound. Certain components, certain compositions.
Just from what you said about
Yeah, from the transmittance of currents through them, they heat up and things change. But I wouldn't be looking for that out of like my transistor circuits and stuff. That's not a good sign if you're.
Sounds like a new segment. Yeah, cafes. That's what I was thinking too. AVGN. That he has like that series he did. It's bullshit. That was like that could be a really good influence on it. That's a great. I don't know. Have you ever seen that YouTube channel? It's like Cinemassacre. They do one of their bigger.
Yo, Catface.
Yeah, what's going on? Andrew coming in. We had J-Rad. What up?
All right.
We've been talking. Everybody filtering in.
Shit.
Schizo, what's going on? What's up?
Yo.
Bad news. I think my 8th channel blew my 488. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt said that's as bogus as burning in monitors for 24 hours. People trying to be happy with their old junk.
Yeah. We get that question a lot in the Recone shop too about like breaking in speakers and shit because there's a lot of companies out there that'll like pre-run the speakers for you for 72-hour burn-in or whatever for an extra $50.
And what is that?
It's fucking bullshit. That again is shortening the lifespan of in that case the speaker surround. That's what that is. That's what that is. Your speakers will change sound over the time in which you play them. They will go from super tight and brand fucking new to wore out and floppy old donkey dick. That's the lifespan of a speaker. So in between is where it sounds good. At the top end and at the bottom end, it sounds like shit. So I personally wouldn't want somebody to take me like to the mid range of that
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because
That's part of the journey.
they tell me it's a good idea. It's not a good idea. But you know, whatever. They make a lot more money than I do, so they must be right.
Yeah, yeah. Planning for burial. Oh, is that who you're seeing? Aaron, what's up? How you doing? Good to have you. Like, this live stream contains explicit language.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, you get used to that around here, though.
yeah. I know. I've always seen those break-in services too, and wondered
It's bullshit.
because
man. It's fucking bullshit.
when I got those, remember when I put those, put those really cheap Jensen in my my Super to lighten up the weight of it, and you were like, "Yeah, I think you're really gonna like the." I think because I was asking you, like, what's the deal with burning this in? Should I like leave a test tone running through this for 24 hours? Can I leave this at the studio? I think I like legitimately asked you that.
Well, I think I put you on speakerphone with like
You did.
with my
That's right.
not only the speaker shop guru dude, but also my tone chaser buddy.
Yeah. Yep.
So
That's right.
you know, if those guys say don't do it,
Yeah. Yeah, because I had a lot of questions, like speaker-wise. I was just going for like the lightest ones I could find. That's the tone chase right there, the floppy.
it's hard to nail that. No, it really isn't actually. If you take a speaker and you get its cone very very wet and then play through it very very loudly, you'll arrive there very quickly. You'll break up the fibers in the composition of the cone, and you'll find that tone very quickly. Won't last long though.
Now, what's the average? What do you think the average time it takes to get to that place?
The actual like floppy shot to shit tone.
Yeah, yeah. Like where at what point?
A lot of the
depends how much you
speakers-
play, but like,
Yeah.
how many hours would you say?
Well, like a lot of the speakers that we recone that are like shot to shit. There's no more high end. The mid range is real woolly. The lows don't bump correctly. It's just a wore out fucking speaker. Most of those speakers are like from the, you know, early 60s through the mid 70s probably. From the mid 70s on, most of the stuff you find is either they want something custom or somebody put something through it.
Right.
You know.
Yo, what's a good room mic on the cheap? Oh, we got our first question of the evening from J-Rad. Trying to bump up our recordings with my band, just an all-around room mic. Well, I think that's a little bit of a loaded question. Because I was going to say, make sure your sources sound the best that they can, which I'm assuming that they already do.
But with a room mic, you're talking a mono room mic, like you don't want to put pairs up.
Yeah, maybe something that's just going to work in a lot of different
I
situations.
would look at the MXL line. I would stay away from the 990 because it's a small diaphragm and it's not going to give you what you want. But MXL makes some actual large diaphragm condensers that you can get for $100-ish.
Yeah,
on
they're
the
pretty
used
cheap.
on the used market. You can probably do better than that. And that's what I'd go for. It's a company called ADK that makes pretty decent microphones. They make an S7, S as in Sam, 7 as in 7 microphone. I don't know what the current retail is on that, but I have a pair of those that very occasionally get used, and that's not a bad sounding mic either. So
Cool, yeah. So it sounds like you want to probably go for like a large diaphragm.
I would definitely go for a large diaphragm condenser.
Yeah.
You'll never get a good room mic sound that articulates the entirety of the band out of a dynamic. It's just it's
And what do you think
It's not
a
feasible.
ribbon would be too dark?
a ribbon with a lot of instruments going and a whole lot of information actually tends to be very inarticulate. It'll pick everything up, but you get to a certain sound pressure level in the room where the ribbon can't respond fast enough, and you just end up with this smear with cymbals peeking through it.
Cool. Oh,
So-
great. I'm glad. That sounds like what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I would go large diaphragm condenser, and it doesn't have to be fantastic. Like the MXL shit is more than functional for recording purposes. But like I said, that 990 is a very tiny capsule, almost like a little pencil condenser, just in a big ass body. So I would look at something past that. I can't remember the model numbers offhand, but I know there's like maybe a V67 or a 63 or something like that. I think it's like green and it's got maybe like a gold head basket.
What company is that? 80K?
No, MXL.
MXL?
I seem to remember that being like a thing.
We got another question from Aaron. He asks, are all dynamic mics moving coil?
Yes. Yep.
All right, bringing up the MXLs
All
here.
dynamic mics are essentially a speaker run in reverse, just in micro size. They do make ones that have different formers inside.
Oh,
That is the thing that that's what I was thinking. I don't know how much they are, but something like that's probably a decent bet.
These six.
Well, what's that other one? Go back. What's that?
This one?
Yeah.
MXL Marshall 2008 cardioid large diaphragm.
There you go.
condenser.
$50. Pro Sound and Lighting. $50. Link it up. Bang.
Get up.
MXL 2008. So where was I just?
Moving coils.
Oh yeah. So they make moving coils with different former materials, and which is what the coil of wire is wound around to make the actual electromagnetic reactance happen to generate the voltage. And they make ones. Occasionally, you'll find one that has a diaphragm that's made out of something other than the mylar-ish material that most of them are made out of. But usually it's like a mylar kind of cone, if you will, and then they use some kind of plastic shit for the former. It's got a little tiny wrap of either red or green enamel wire around it, and that's basically it.
Cafe said MXL is 67 is based on a common Shanghai schematic. There's a ton of mics based on. I don't know anything.
Well, the Shop schematic or Shep schematic is what almost all of it is based on, but I've never been inside the V67. I do know it's an alright sounding mic.
So Aaron, I hope that he said, well, alright. I guess that answered his question. Twin asks, any Task Vamp news?
I mean, the last
Where did we
last
leave
parts
off?
order came in.
Yeah, last parts order is in?
No, the ones that I forgot to include in the order that you placed came in today too.
Oh.
So I have all the parts now.
Okay, yeah. So we left off a couple small items from the list. Something got lost in translation. But I mean, how have you made any progress on the first? Because no.
No, I got a couple resistors sticking out of the board. That's it.
Okay, yeah, because some of the parts, so they're starting to be. Jay is putting together the first board for the first one. So, and then we're gonna make up the first. I brought the first enclosure to Jay's studio today.
Yep.
He had requested one, so yeah, I would say we're gonna. Next step is just populating all the boards, getting that first one up and running.
I got to get the first one put together and running first. That's absolutely number one before we do anything else.
Right. So I guess the news is sort of the same as last week, but we've made progress.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
All right. So where were we?
I've been returning to recording mic cabs lately instead of using IR pedals. Still trying to make that post-rock masterpiece.
Yeah. Multiple cabinet mics. Get a Y cable that'll connect two dynamics together and play with that too.
Aaron said, "Don't tell JHS they might steal it and call it something else." That seems to be the running gag, I think, right? Well, I think that's what's funny is we'll see what happens. I mean, you. Hey, from the Victoria Palace Theatre in London. I'm actually exhausted from the show tonight. Oh, Jack. I remember Jack came through a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's
How's
funny.
it going?
How's it going? Yeah. Good to have you again, Jack. I think Will was partially inspired for the artwork for the hey, with Capro's in here for the pedal a little bit, the artwork. So it'll be funny if they do.
Oh, JHS.
If they do rip it off, we could just be like, well.
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever. Fuck that guy.
So at least we'll have the pedal that kind of looks like theirs already, and then we can be like, yeah, see, you just took it from this.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's the schematic I sent you, Jay. The T-Mode mic I bought as a copy.
Yeah, that's when we were discussing the
Oh, cool. J-Rad is gonna
the myth and mystery of the capacitor pad.
Yeah, it's going well here too, Jack. We've been crushing it. Hope you've been crushing it too. I don't know.
Well, you either crush it or you get crushed by it.
Yeah. So.
Some days I feel like I'm getting crushed by it, honestly. But anyhow, that's a whole nother rant.
Overall, we're doing well, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back through. Good to see you.
Still living the dream.
I'm Googling Victoria Palace Theater right now.
I tell you that Tad asked me to be on his Noise Floor podcast?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, tell us about this. I want to get Tad on the 424 recording podcast.
Yeah.
We got to give him a call, man.
That was that was one of the last emails.
That's awesome. Well, because you had Tad master your latest single, right?
Yep.
So, you want to fill us in a little bit of your friendship with Tad or your relationship with him, like how you got started in contact with him and stuff?
Well, yeah. So in 2000, I guess it was 14 or 15, maybe 14 into 15. We had a band going called Flourish, and Flourish was making a record. I was looking for somebody to master it, and I found out that Tad had a studio, so I did some research and got his contact information, and I just cold called him. And
He's out in Washington?
he's in Seattle. So I cold called him, and he called me back, and we talked for a few minutes, and he was down to do the project, and then the band broke up. So I didn't hear anything from him, and he didn't hear anything from me for a while, and then working on a Walking Bombs record, and I guess that was the end of 2016, maybe.
Well, because I know there was some exchange of you sent him a couple pedals.
Yeah, that was later though.
Oh, later. Okay.
I think it was either 16 or early 17. We did a Walking Bombs record, and Morgan decided that he wanted to have Tad master it at my suggestion. So I got back in touch with Tad, and we've sort of been talking semi-regularly since then. He did the mastering on that. I built him a couple pedals. He sent me some vinyl. I got his Sub Pop reissues, which is pretty fucking
Nice,
sweet. And
man.
I got a copy of the Brothers of the Sonic Cloth full length. And then he sent me some microphones, and I took a really long fucking time, but I finally finished modding his microphones and sent those back. And then,
Yeah, I remember you had those for a while.
yeah, I did have those longer than I should have.
Oh, and you're wearing the shirt today too. Because
Yeah.
that matches said nice shirt.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Bobby.
So,
Dope. Dope. Profile pic, bro. So yeah.
I mean, I sent him the mics, and he insisted that he pay me, so I sort of just threw him together a lowball ticket and whatever, and he paid the ticket and said in his notes, he said, oh yeah, you need me to master anything, you need anything, let me know. So we did the new single. I hit him up. I said, hey man, you want to give this a master pass? And it wasn't even 24 hours later I had the first pass, and then I think an hour or two after that I had two more passes that he had done, because he liked one better than the other. And then I think it was the next day he sent me he liked the track so much that he was playing around with it. He cut like the tail off it and did a bunch of stuff to it and put some reverse on it, and he made like this new intro swell thing that's pretty tight.
Yeah, I heard you showed me that today.
And,
That's really cool.
So yeah, I mean, Tad's my dude, man. I'd really like to take us out there and make a fucking record with that guy, but man, budgets are way too tight for Seattle vacations.
Yeah. That would be really fucking cool, though. I think you guys should work to that, man.
Yeah. I just worry at this point that we would try to go out there and do that, and he wouldn't let us pay the full rate or whatever. I can't be having that. You guys gotta, everybody's got to be making money. So
Sure, yeah. But that's cool, man. That you've developed a relationship with him.
yeah,
And
I
you
mean,
guys have this back and forth. I mean, that's I think that's what the great thing about.
well, that's what's amazing about it is that, like, growing up listening to his band and shit. You never really, and the few people that I've met in between, also people who I looked up to musically, have been like a total fucking disappointment. So to meet that dude and find out that he's super fucking chill and get to work with him and exchange ideas and information with them, and
Yeah.
you can call him up and like bullshit about life. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So
Awesome.
mhm.
But yeah, so he has a podcast then.
He does the Noise Floor podcast.
That's a sick
I'm
name.
not sure how many episodes he's up to. I think I may have missed the most recent one. I'm not sure.
I'll check it out right now.
He had Jack and Dino on, and
Right, because
There's been a bunch of dudes on
he
that.
kind of I don't want to say grew up with those guys, but he knows all those guys from the scene, from being in the scene out there.
yeah, well, I mean, as far as I know, Jack was the engineer on all of the, or almost all of the Tad records. I know of all the early ones, at least.
I'm looking
There
up
may be a
his
couple.
podcasts.
Maybe a couple in betweens that he didn't do, but either way.
Oh, dope.
I don't know how many there are.
Looks like he's got. I don't know if this is up to date. Looks like he has 5. Is that possible?
Could be.
Do it up, man. That seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah, so I haven't heard this last one, number 5. I
Number
haven't
5.
heard. Jack and Dino was where I left off.
That's dope.
But
I'm gonna add this to my phone and check these out. Tape Opt has one too.
and Sub Pop themselves have one.
Oh, it looks like Tape Opt. Oh yeah, Sub Pop too. If you're just joining us, we're checking out audio podcasts.
They got one with Steve Albini too.
Glenn Johns.
Sylvia Massey. That would be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's dope. Daniel Lanois, Gautier.
Gautier. Ugh.
That's cool. I didn't realize that was one of the reasons I wanted to start a podcast for 424 Recording was just well, first of all, if YouTube ever blew up, I would still want a way to create awesome stuff for people to listen to, and also because I just felt like there were so many people I wanted to talk to, and whether they be YouTubers or musicians, creative types, it's just it's so much fun. So
Bobby, I would also like to do a session with Jack and Dino, but if you go to Jack and Dino's website, if you're crafty and you can figure out how to get a hold of him, you can take him for dinner at his favorite restaurant in Seattle. I think it's a Chinese restaurant. And he guarantees that for the duration of his meal, you'll at least get to pick his brain about whatever it is that you want to know. It says right on his website.
That's
so
awesome.
If you take him to dinner, he will put out,
That's so cool.
so to speak.
Take me to dinner first, bro. Buy me dinner first.
For real.
That's awesome.
But I should hope that or I would hope that if I ever get to go to Seattle again and do the Tad hang, that it'd be easy enough to get Jack maybe to hang too.
I mean, we were also
Maybe
talking
I'm asking too much.
the
The fuck was that?
I don't know. Maybe something in the cap. Sounded like looks like there maybe some water or something. I got a towel. Look at that.
Where the fuck is it?
It's like right here. I don't know. all
What
good.
the hell? It might have sloshed in the bottle.
Cat Bro's out.
He's out. Peace. Well, we were also talking about. I think one of my old bands had talked about it, and then we were talking about it. You could even going out to see Albini. You know.
Yeah, well, Albini would be. I feel like he'd either be really, really easy to get a hold of and talk to, or he'd be like the most impossible person ever. And I suspect that would depend on his mood at that point in time and on his workload. And since he works about 360 days a year, that don't give you much of a margin.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of interview footage with him from the last, 10 years or whatever.
Well, I think. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. But I think just speaking for. So like for me, I reached out to Bo Beats. He's like he's nowhere near the type of celebrity of Albini, right? But like, I guess my point is like, I think these people are accessible if you just.
It's
like with Tad, you just reached out to him.
Yeah. Well,
and
I think
you
in a
guys
lot of,
are bros, so it's like.
But a lot of cases, it has to do with like going through the right channels.
Right.
Because just because you get in contact with one of those people doesn't mean you went through the right channels to do it.
Sure.
So like if you want them to work on something for you, there's a certain way you do that. If you want to interview them or, try to go beyond that and like have them come over for a cookout, there's a whole other set of channels you got to go through for all that shit.
But it's like it's so easy today to just say to find somebody's email, because email is where everything goes down.
Yeah. Well, not everything. I told you how you get a hold of Jack Endino.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
he's
email,
quick with the response, but there's no you're not emailing him.
I guess what I'm saying is like everybody has an email address, whether it's a business one, a personal one,
right?
Whatever. So like, say you wanted to interview, like I was thinking about interviewing one of my favorite engineers / drummers, Jimmy No from Spoon. I think I told you the story last week, and I'm just like I should just email him and see what happens. I'm sure either he'll say no, sorry, I don't have time, or he'll say sure when you got a half hour. Because I think it's so easy today for people just to, especially with the way the internet is, Skype.
Sure.
Time and distance, no longer an issue. It's not, and it's no sweat off anyone's back if you have a good set of questions for them, or even if you don't. Like.
Yeah. Well, that.
I find people are usually pretty apt to talking about themselves.
You also, they are. But you also have to look at who it is that you want to interview. Because, like, getting a hold of, like, a Dave Grohl type of figure, for instance.
Right. Well,
like,
I think that's...
You would call his management. You would wait...
a whole different level,
You would wait several months to maybe hear something back about that.
Sure.
And,
I mean, that guy's at, like, yeah.
So like
there's certain people
that are at the upper rise of the wave, like those are ones that would be very, very hard to reach out to. But like, legit fucking indie rock people who have experiences to share and care to share them will always be accessible in some way.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's because you also have to think too, certain levels of people, like somebody like Dave Grohl, there's probably a lot of people trying to reach out to him and contact him.
Every minute of his life.
Somebody like Jim,
yeah.
like, I don't know. I mean, Spoon is a very popular band, I guess, but nowhere near as like.
But they're not like
mainstream. I don't know.
That's the thing. It's not mainstream.
Well, it's not. I feel like I could easily just be like, hey.
It's not part of this whole ebb and flow wave cycle where the Dave Grohls of the world are surfing. It's this whole other thing. It's a different graph.
I think there's like certain levels of like.
It's a different graph.
Yeah. But so I mean I think a lot of people. Well, there was a podcast I saw with Albini recently. I forget the podcast, but it seemed like it was very fledgling podcast, a new podcast, and it seemed like it's as easy as just like I said, you find the right contacts for some people, and like Jay said, you get them at the right time, and who knows,
Yeah.
I think it depends what you want, like you said, and how you go about doing it. So
definitely. Bobby said Albini intimidates me. I feel like he would be judging me.
Yeah,
if I ever did a session with him. Too. I know a guy who is a pro audio rep out in Chicago who's faced Albini several times, and if you don't ask the right questions or you don't speak in the right way, and he's not on your payroll, you might get eaten for breakfast. If he is on your payroll, he plays a lot nicer, and if he thinks that you know your shit, or you can show him that you know your shit when it comes to the technology, he also will play a lot nicer. That's secondhand information from a guy who knows a lot about pro audio but nothing about the actual technology. So, I think it really depends.
It makes sense, if you have a shared similar interest.
Albini always looks pissed. I think, I don't think it's that Albini's...
Check out the music that he makes, you got to be somewhat angry to be making...
Well, if you listen to him talk, though, like, he's a very sharp-tongued guy, and he's a very straight shooter. There's very little comic relief there. There's no punches pulled, and there's very little, like... he's not tiptoeing around shit. So, yeah, I mean, he would be a tough nut to crack, I guarantee it. But you also got to look at where he came from. I mean, recording in, like, little basement hovels and shit, and,
You also got to figure,
scraping
there's a certain
breadcrumbs
amount
together.
That guy's seen it all, And there's probably a certain amount of people that...
You think about it, he's recorded fucking everybody.
Well, that's what I mean. So, you got to... There's got to be some level of fanboyism, people coming after him. I'm sure, but maybe I don't know. I can't speak for it, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't know. There's certain levels of celebrity you could probably reach out and it's cool, and then somebody like that, he probably gets people who are I love your stuff. Because I've seen interviews with him where he's I don't care who you are, I don't care what your band sounds like. If you want to record here. Yeah. There's my website. You can do it. It's just super black and white.
Sure.
He doesn't give a shit what your band.
But he's also a very plotting.
Doesn't give a shit about your bands.
He's a very plotting sort of individual, though. If you read the letter that he wrote to Nirvana when they booked that session with him, it was very here's what I can do. Here's the places we could do this. Thank you, Steve. It's
Yeah.
It's very
business
regimented and sort of almost compartmentalized. But I think there's there's got to be a fun side to Albini too, because I've seen a lot of shit where he's playing guitar on fucking stilts and shit and being all goofy. So
But damn, he has the best drum sound. Oh, he's talking about Grohl. Bobby said Dave Grohl rubbed me the wrong way, and I like to be rubbed. Oh boy.
Yeah, Grohl always seemed like a nice guy to me too, but I sort of...
Yeah.
I've always imagined that meeting him would probably ruin my impression.
Well, what do they say? Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah. And believe me, that's already in a lot of cases proved to be.
Oh, that happened to me at one time too. I used to listen to Richard Davies. He was an Australian singer-songwriter. He toured with the Flaming Lips in the 90s. He had a couple albums that I really, really enjoyed. And one time when I was living in New York, he was playing in this place called Brewer Falls in Brooklyn. It's no longer there, as many venues are not. And I was one of two people that came to see him.
Yeah.
And to me, this guy was one of the greatest, one of my favorite. I should contact him and see if he'll be on the podcast.
Be careful what you say next, then. What happened?
Well, it just to me sometimes the mystique, the mystery is basically, I mean, I was invited to be a part of his. He was in a band called the Moles, and they were talking about putting together. He said to me and this other guy, if we put together the Moles backing band, he would redo it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess he'll probably never be on the podcast. So I don't know. He's like a lawyer now. He doesn't really pursue music. I guess he sort of not gave it up, but and the show was just very. I don't know.
Didn't have the sheen you expected.
There was something very bittersweet about it.
Yeah.
And it would have almost been better had I just. It's like one of those things when reality and imagination crash together. So
Yeah. The
I don't know.
twin talking about.
Oh, Matt said J Mascis, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twin, one of the customers I have was in a late 60s sort of like
David.
psych band called Fear Itself. He was the guitar player. And he started out as like just a customer. Like I was doing amps and dropping them off, and that was it. And it turned into this thing where I was going up there and like hanging out all fucking night till like the sun came up the next day, just talking like, you know, 60s and 70s gear and music and all the fucking places he had been and the people he had gotten to hang out with and like all the techs that he'd been around and, you know, writing the manual for the Tech 21 Sans amp and all this crazy shit that he did. You know, it's very interesting when you can sort of meet that older group and get those stories. But
Yeah, see, this is great. This is awesome that you got a lot of you guys have really positive stories. I feel like I'm being such a fucking downer, personally.
I mean,
That's
I
so
think-
sick. The twin said he sent Tom Verano from Glass Prism another 60 Psych Man email, and he chatted with him for an hour. Bobby said they opened for him, and no one was there to see us, and he watched their whole set up front and talked to us.
Nice.
And then Schizo said he was on 4.5 hits of acid, and he met his idol at the time, Paul Van Dyke, and he was really cool and personable. So I mean, those are all they're really great tales of meeting your idols or meeting your heroes or meeting people you admire. And
Yeah.
because I've had, I don't know, man, I don't know what is it about me or that I, like, maybe I went around a wrong way or I was like a stupid kid, but like certain people, and they weren't. It's like. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I remember seeking out like mentors when I was younger and trying to find people to really look up to and find some kind of I don't know, common ground or life path, you know, or some kind of guidance, because I feel like that's something that lacked in a lot of my youth and when I found like creative people that I looked up to. But a lot of those people always like just shut me down, man, or just weren't down with it. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, like I think I've told my Thurston Moore disappointment story.
No.
On here before.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if we've heard that
So
one.
we bought like super overpriced tickets for the Thurston Moore group when they played in Hudson at Helsinki.
Oh, that must have been what, 2 or 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah. Yep. And so we went and ate a super overpriced dinner after we cashed in our super overpriced tickets to get in the
Helsinki,
door.
Yeah, okay.
But Helsinki's a very small venue, and the green room's very small. It's just off the side of the stage, and you know, so we sat through the whole performance. The performance was pretty good, and at the end of the show, the whole band was like out on the stage, just hanging out, like talking to whoever came by. Which I think there were only like 3 of us that approached the stage. But that dude went in the dressing room, closed the door, and that was it. Fucking gone. I talked to his guitar player for probably fucking 45 minutes. Talked to the guy who was playing drums. It was fucking super cool.
Yeah.
That motherfucker never came back.
Hmm.
Son of a bitch. I think those tickets were like 30 or 40 bucks a head, something like that. It was fucking ridiculous. And yeah, that was my Thurston Moore disappointment.
Hmm.
That far away. But the guitar player dude was super nice, the other guy.
That's cool.
We talked about pedals for a while.
That's awesome. I think that's really what that's really what I don't yeah. I don't know. Where were we here?
I left off at the Paul McCartney thing.
Oh, someone I met another day at a private concert and also talked with John. Wow, that's cool. People can be really chill. Yeah, that's a good point.
I actually heard Johnny Depp's kind of an asshole, but I would suppose that probably depends on the day and what he's
And
been fucking
the
around
thing
with.
is, like, we don't know, you know, like, we'll never be in those people's shoes, you know? Like,
No.
we don't know what that journey's been
I don't
like.
ever want to star in Pirates of the Caribbean, let alone
No.
4 of them. So
Right.
whatever
And
there
so,
is.
I mean, like, we have no idea, like, what goes through these people's
No.
minds or, like, what they've seen or what they've been or, you know, whatever. So it's like, I don't know if I could ever quite judge. But I think that's awesome when people are chill about it and are willing to hang out.
Yeah, but Catface, you can never know, like, for sure which one of your heroes is going to be the ringer and which one's going to be the dick. So,
Chris and Tommy, Good Time Folk Rock Show. What's going on? Good to see you guys.
also Johnny Depp is a total wife beater. Yeah, that kind of wouldn't surprise me, but like I said, he kind of seems like an asshole. But I don't know.
I think don't meet your heroes is a bad saying. Maybe don't have dick heroes. Oh, that's interesting.
What's up, Chris and Tommy? Good Time Folk Rock Show. That's a mouthful, huh?
Captain Jack Sparrow, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's one of those things again. Like, I guess it comes down to expectation. You know, I think that's one of the hardest things I struggle with sometimes is expectation, and because I feel like if you go into those situations, like with Jay Mascis, like you have the expectation, like, oh, this guy will be chill and like talk to me, like
not chill,
like,
not chill.
If you go into that situation being like, there's a really good chance that this guy
is not going to be fucking chill at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually do. I do have a good Meet Your Hero story.
Oh yeah.
I forget what year it was. It had to be early 2000s. I saw Beck and Flaming Lips, I think at Bowery Ballroom, and it was their tour where the Flaming Lips were backing Beck. It was fucking sick.
That's weird. I do not like the Flaming Lips, but
well, it was like, I think.
But yeah, I can see where your excitement's coming from.
I'm a big fan of Clouds Taste Metallic. Have you ever listened to that record? I think you would dig that one. That's like one of the first CDs I ever bought as a kid. But anyway, so we went around back because it's like pretty well known where they come out, and I met Beck and Wayne, and I can't remember the bass player's name at the time at this time, but like that guy was like the chillest, most cool dude
Yeah.
I've ever met. Yeah, he was like super, just like exactly how you would think, and all three of those guys were pretty cool. Beck was like almost
Catatonic because he was so high.
he was like taken aback that anybody would have been out there like trying to meet me, like sign my shirt. I had like a Beck shirt.
He's probably taken aback because he was expecting underage girls and instead he got Mike.
Maybe. But yeah, so right, maybe that's what it was. But yeah, they're all really chill. So actually, I do have a good story. I'm glad I remembered that one.
I can't statutory rape you.
Jesus.
I don't know anything about Beck really. I'm sure he's actually a pretty.
I think he's got.
He
like,
seems like a sharp dude, and I don't really get a creepy vibe. I kind of get like the goofy cousin vibe off of him.
And honestly, I too like certain stuff I've seen with him. I think he's almost like shy or something. Taken aback.
I think he's high.
Maybe he's just
Yeah.
I would try to make J Masses laugh or show some kind of emotion.
Impossible. I don't know that you could do it. Maybe if you like kicked him in the leg or something, you might get something out of him. But
Oh yeah, what is that? Chris and Tommy. I think that's Sea Change. That's a sick album. I think that's the one.
yo, what is that one fucking dude?
Yeah, Mac DeMarco I've heard is really chill too. I think at one point he was inviting people to either his house, or at one point he was like serving. He just had like a hot dog cart, and it was like part of his thanks for.
Did he fucking give him GHB and?
What's that? Jeez. I think he was just like.
That's like the predecessor to Roofies.
Oh no! This is like, I think it was just like a kind of like a meet and greet,
Like a
sort of
goodwill thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Who's that guy, man? I'm trying to remember.
Skiz, you're crazy, man. Oh yeah, okay. He gave his actual home address and invited anyone to come over for coffee.
Jesus.
Hundreds, if not thousands of. That's insane. Wow, that's fucking cool.
That's brave.
Yeah, it was like on his album, right? Oh yeah, that's what you just
Brave.
said. Yeah, I think at the end, yeah, or something like that. Right. I mean, he's. I've heard of different. Not. I guess those aren't. I wouldn't say stunts, but yeah, that's fucking chill, man. That must have been a lot of coffee. He
Right.
drank a lot of coffee.
Hmm.
That's awesome. He let everybody in.
I read a story one time about these kids climbing over the fence or the wall into Keanu Reeves' house, and they were looking through the windows, and he was just like in there, like with no shirt on, playing guitar or some shit. And he saw him out the window, so he came like threw the guitar down, and he came running out, and he like invited them all in. They had like lunch with him and shit,
What?
like hanging out in his pad, yeah, like in the '90s, back like right around like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, or right after that, or whatever, Bogus Journey.
Carefully knows kung fu. Nice Matrix reference.
Nice.
Brendan Urie gave out his home address and he had to move house. That's crazy.
Yeah, I would never give out my home address for something like that. Even with zero fans, you never know what kind of fucking weirdos might find you.
Oh, he moved to LA, huh? I didn't know that. He had to get out of New York after everybody knew where he lived, I guess. So I don't know. What do you guys think of what is the conclusion here then? I guess it can be okay to meet your heroes if they're chill.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line.
And just have no expectations.
Yeah, pretty much.
Montreal to New York to LA. Right, because I know that Mac DeMarco lived in oh man, where is it? He lived in David, you probably know. Like the southern shore of like Brooklyn, I think. Or Queens, like right in the middle. It's like way out there. I can't think of the neighborhood.
Yo, that's the dude I was thinking of. Michael Franti. You ever hear that dude?
No.
Michael Franti and Spearhead. It's like some like new age kind
Far
of,
Rockaway, that's right.
kind of like new age, like reggae, happy shit. But I bet that motherfucker'd be cool to meet. You listen to his songs and shit. He's like mad passionate about stuff. Probably nice.
That's cool. Matt said I had some weirdos find me one time. They called themselves a Taz fan. Then I joined them.
Well, you couldn't beat us, so you had to join us.
Join us. Yep. Hell yeah.
You got no choice, boy.
No choice. That's right. Far Rockaway. That's
Isn't
like
that in
out
Jersey?
there. It's like
I thought it was in Jersey.
I had a couple friends that were in like a noise band that lived out there. I think their place was called the Red Light District.
That
and it was
sounds
in
suggestive.
Far Rockaway. Yeah, it was trippy, man. That was some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen. I met some of the craziest people I think I've ever met in my life. But they were all hanging out in Far Rockaway.
Oh, Queens, yeah.
Oh yeah, Queens. Yep. Whoa, that's fucking cool. Grand Avenue in the 1910s, dirt road. That's crazy.
You could hitch a ride to Rockaway Beach. I guess it's probably a different Rockaway, though, huh?
I don't know. I would imagine. I think it's Rockaway and then Far Rockaway.
Jesus Christ. Rockaway was so far that they had to make a far Rockaway for the one beyond it. That sucks. Sucks for that guy.
I could be talking. Just talking.
Jesus, look at it. It's huge.
Maybe.
Careful.
Yeah, that's like out there, man. Oh, that's right by Long Beach. Okay. Lido Beach.
Where the hell's Rockaway Beach? Well, there's Rockaway Park, so the Rockaway Beach gotta be right there.
Yeah. I thought it just said that. Roxbury. Oh, Rockaway Point?
You gotta hitch a ride to Rockaway Beach, man. We can hitch a ride to Rockaway Beach.
Yeah, that's like, that's cool down there. It's like really out there.
It's like out behind JFK and shit.
Yeah, that's like.
Damn.
Well, that's what's funny is like because everyone moves to Queens and Brooklyn and they want to be close to Manhattan and close to Williamsburg and Bushwick and all the spots down there, Ridgewood. So it's like
But it seems to me
you
if
want to live like closer in this area, like that's all the way out there, man. That's like you might as well live on Long Island or something.
seems to me if you want to do anything that's like artistic or kind of music chill, you go Brooklyn. If you want to do anything that's like upscale and art gallery stuffy bullshit shopping, you go to Manhattan.
Right.
And Queens is just where motherfuckers live.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I went to see Brian, my buddy Brian. There's that interview I did a couple months back on the channel with him, where we're sitting on top of the building. He lives right in Long Island City, and that's like getting really built up. And he said the same kind of thing though, because it's like one stop away from Midtown, and I don't know. I don't know how people can afford to live there anymore. Personally, it's insane.
I don't know why you'd want to.
I think it used to make a lot more sense. Even in the early 2000s, Williamsburg was a lot more accessible, or it was a lot of those huge venues, and the 90s, right? It was more of like an artist community.
Yeah.
And then over the past like 20 years or whatever, I don't really know the history, but just from my own lifetime, I kind of understand like things happen pretty fast there. But that was the thing. It was so close to New York, and everybody wants to be in New York, but New York was so expensive. So then you live in Brooklyn, you live in Queens, you live somewhere out, and but now it's almost like those places are cool places to be in themselves. I don't know. Talking from somebody who used to live there many years ago, so I can't even. I don't really have a frame of reference anymore, but
I don't think I necessarily ever had any frame of reference other than visiting a few of those places, a couple handfuls of times.
I think there was a point in time where it was affordable, and now I feel like unless you're willing to live with 6 other people in a 1-bedroom apartment.
I think there's a lot of really wealthy hipster dipshits that have ruined it for fucking everybody.
There's a lot of really wealthy people. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't understand how you could be an artist in New York and not be insanely wealthy or established. And maybe that's a little sour grapes, but at the same time, there's no way. There's no way you're like, I don't know, just scraping by and living in like Williamsburg.
No. No. Without 17 roommates.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Unless you're willing to live with unless you just have like a body-sized place on the floor, a 1-bedroom where you can crash at night.
You
just fucking
like shit.
Hang out in New York all day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you think about it. Even around here, there's like, and the housing's really not that terribly expensive here, but there's still lots of people that I know that rent these houses that have 4 bedrooms. There's like 9 people living in that shit just so they can pay the rent, so everybody's got somewhere to stay.
Right.
That's pretty shitty, and that's rural. So imagine if you went to like Manhattan and tried to pull that shit.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Your whole fucking family would have to move in. It'd be like a goddamn longhouse. Like every generation would be living in that motherfucker to cover the rent. I don't know how the hell you do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know either. I just, I guess, I don't know. It's not a place I think you can live on the cheap anymore.
I mean,
You
get a nice Frigidaire box and set it up down there someplace. You live relatively inexpensively, but other than that,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, in all seriousness, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know how they all do it.
I think that dream is over down there.
Or you rent a place that you really can't afford, and then you Airbnb the shit out of like the extra rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have like Airbnb share and all that stuff now, where like people stay in your house while you're still staying in your house and shit. I don't know.
I know this lady that lived up here, and she had some rent control place in like Lower East Side. So like, what she did was basically just live off that. She could rent that shit out. She probably paid $800 a month. It's rent controlled.
Probably charged about $3K.
Charged like $3-4K.
Yep.
And she lived up here full time.
Don't have to do shit.
She didn't do anything.
Apartment down there is paying $3 to $4K a month.
And she had it, so that like provided her with income and.
Yeah. Better not let those tenants find out that it's rent controlled, or let the Bureau of Rent
'cause my thing
enforcement
was
find
like,
out you
why
sublet that
why wouldn't
shit.
you live there yourself? But yeah, it's
Because it sucks
you
there?
make a lot more money
Yeah,
too.
but it also because it sucks there, I think.
Oh, where are we with the chat?
Live in a van down by the
Yeah,
river, yeah.
that's been that was my goal for it.
That's it.
Well, I mean, sometimes when you got to do the things you want to do, got to be willing to make some sacrifices.
That's a pretty serious sacrifice.
Live in a van down by the river. Yeah, it is.
Who is that by?
Uh, Chris Farley. It was like an SNL bit, but was it a song? Yeah, it was like I forget the exact. These guys probably know the exact skit, but it was. I think he was like a salesman or something, and it was basically like a PSA for staying in school. I think.
Oh, well, that you should definitely do. Yeah. So we missed out on some 688, 488
Sorry,
talk.
Chris and Tommy. Looks like the Task fan fielded some of those questions. I've never owned a 688. I know that there's one guy, Landon, Magic Spiral Productions, that has a video on it. I think he was selling one. He may have sold it. It seems like a cool machine, but it's an 8-track cassette machine.
Yeah, no.
And it's like, I feel like it's the most complicated one. Basically, because there's like MIDI, there's like crazy things you can do with it.
It's like an Atari 5200. Technology outgrew the base technology.
Right.
Still works the same way, but it's been eclipsed.
Let me see if I can find that video from Landon.
You should look up that Atari 5200 so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anybody ever play an Atari 5200? Wait a minute, what's this talk of turkey pastrami? What? Yo, where's mine?
Well, someone was saying I read
What kind of chips? What kind of
somebody
chips
was
did you have with
having.
it?
Oh yeah, here it is.
Bobby, what kind of chips?
This is the 688 video, Chris and Tommy. So maybe this will help you. But it's quite the beast.
Salt and vinegar, that's my jam right there. Was that a cherry Coke by chance? Damn it, I'm hungry again. That's not good.
Well, we have the world at our fingertips.
The world at our fingertips.
Could order pizza or something.
Oh my god. I just had
I'm getting
pizza.
kind of hungry too again.
Go get one of those
Nice,
bomb-ass
David doing some
falafels.
bourbon. We could do that.
Nah, I shouldn't do that. I gotta get up early tomorrow.
Oh, what do you got going on?
More repairs, and then I gotta go to a speaker shop. In between those things, I have to get a haircut because my hair is fucking ridiculous.
Got to go see Tom's wife, right?
Yeah. She's booked like back to back and shit, and she had a cancellation,
Whoa,
so she's gonna fit me in.
that's awesome. That was right across from where we ate, right?
Yeah, in a matter of speaking. But
Like
for all
diagonal.
intents, yeah.
Could eat some cookies. Yeah, we gotta get Happer over here with the cookies. Oh, I gotta get Happer on the podcast. Tomorrow, Tim is actually on the podcast, so anything you wanted to know about Tim should be answered tomorrow. Hapro cookies, yeah, hell yeah. But Chris and Tommy, if you're still chilling, I linked that video for you.
What you doing, bud?
Capro's chilling over there. He's just hanging out with us on the hamper. That's like his jam right there.
He's like the most human eyes of a cat.
Yeah.
You can always like see a little bit of the whites of his eyes.
I
and
know,
stuff.
I know. He's his eyes sometimes seem like they're too big for his head, but I think it's because he's like kind of the runt, you know.
I don't know. I mean, he seems like a fairly proportional cat. I don't think he's like misshapen or anything.
No, but he's like
nice. I'm misshapen, nice. It's nice.
like sometimes when I see other cats, like other people's cats, I'm like, wow, like he's pretty small comparatively. He was
I
definitely
guess
the
for a
runt.
male, he might be a little on the small side, but it's not tiny.
No, he's not like too little.
He's about time and a half the size of my cat.
Oh, really? Yeah, Justin
But
needs
she's
to make a
female,
comeback. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I should have thanked him on there like that. And yeah, it's been a while since Hapro. Usually I get together with. I've been seeing Hapro a little bit more because I've been doing some of those videos at his house. I recorded that session with his mom that Jay and I were working on a little bit today.
I forgot to give you those files today.
Ah, that's all good. I think I'm gonna do them all and then give them all to her at once. Yeah, we'll have to turn around the camera so you guys can see. He's just like chilling, checking
I
out.
was trying to get him to come over here, but he won't come over.
Yeah, he's busy right now.
Come on, bro. What are you doing?
He's young. Yeah, Capro. He's been pretty lethargic. Yeah, he was chilling before. Yeah, we got to get Hapro. Tim, I've been wanting to do another thing with those guys, but we usually do our thing in the winter, so it's like, Justin right now he has a farm actually, so Hapro, so he's like I went there and it's like he barely has a second to talk because he's
Harvesting.
he's doing some crazy work there. So
and planting.
I want to try to get there one night and interview him because I still have yet to do an interview with somebody where they're actually in the room, which is weird to me.
Yeah, that is weird.
And especially Tim, but Tim kind of lives down in New Jersey now, so he's only here on the weekends. But even that was like, I didn't have time to have him here, so it's been weird because all of them have been Skype interviews and phone interviews, except for our episodes where we did them here with the questions,
Right.
But I want to get you on the pod. Would that be weird if I interviewed you?
I thought we already did that.
I think we did it for Coffee with Mike or something, but we should do one where it's just Jay episode.
So. Oh, I got to give you some more of some of the things musicians say also. I forgot to email you that last night.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say, guys. If you have any ideas of crowdsource a video here. So I wanted to write a script about, I guess it's like...
Shit musicians say.
Shit musicians say, do. So like... anything that you think is like ridiculous or funny. I'm gonna working on a script for a new type of video. I've been inspired lately by some other ones I've seen, and I think I could do a really funny one for like indie rock people or something. That.
Well, there's
like hipster.
Some of my favorites are like a friend of mine does X.
That's great.
Like,
oh my god.
My uncle does.
Yeah,
my dad's friend used to do that's cool, and maybe those people know how to do that thing, or used to know how to do that thing, or whatever that is. But like you came to me to do that thing, so shut the fuck up. How about that? I don't care what your dad can do, son. I don't care what your dad can do.
Yeah, so it's like.
Because if he could do it, I wouldn't be doing it.
So it's like I would brought you my amp or something,
and you're standing there talking to me like well my uncle could totally do that. Like,
so why isn't he?
Why don't you honky tonk the fuck on over your uncle's house with it then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because what's like the vibe of them saying it? It almost seems offensive.
Yeah, it kind of is. I think it's not
or
really meant
like,
to be.
Is
but
it questioning questioning your ability to do it? Or?
No, I don't think so. As much,
I thought you meant when people.
But you hear that from people a lot, or like like live sound, like, oh yeah, I got a friend that does that. Like, yeah. Your friend ain't here, man.
Yeah.
So where is that? Because I don't feel like doing this.
I got a friend that does that. Well, where is he?
I got a friend that does that. Then how come I'm doing it for you if you got a friend that does it? Must not be a very good friend. He must be busy. What does this knob do? That's one of the best ones.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm just like crowdsourcing as many as I can, and then I'm gonna like.
I can't hear myself. That's one of my favorite ones.
Oh wait, okay. So, what's this knob do?
Yeah.
That's a great one, man. I thought name dropping was really funny too. I just saw that.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Because it's like.
But I mean, we all fucking do that.
We all fucking. I mean, we've been doing that.
You can't avoid the shit.
That's what I mean. Like even stuff that's like anybody does, but just shit that's like.
Yeah.
All right, we got some coming in here. How about going to local shows? Yeah, I could do that, Bobby. There's a lot of people locally I could get on the pod.
Mind if I use your amp? That's one of my fucking.
That's
sick. A pet peeve right there.
That's such a good one. How did I not think of that? Thank you, Twin.
Or when they show up to shows without the goddamn drum set.
Yeah.
Is it cool if we use your drums and cymbals?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite too. Like, literally either right before you're about to play or like you're like Twin saying like right after. It's like, hey dude, nice set. By the way, can I borrow your amp? It's like, fuck
and your
you.
cables. Is it cool if I use your pedals too? Because
Can I use your guitar?
fuck.
Yeah, the drums are always funny. One time in Brooklyn, actually, when we were playing in one of my bands, somebody asked us, and we were like, "Fuck no, man!" Like, we came from like way further away to do the show. There's like a house kit, and it's not like you like asked us ahead of time. And then that band like pretty much didn't play, and then I think they had like a fight, and then like broke up because like the guy did that shit all the time to his bandmate.
Mm.
You can't be in a band with somebody that's like that, you know. Everybody's got to bring their own shit, unless it's worked out ahead of time. Has a funny
There's a
channel
bunch
like
of
that.
fucking funny ones coming out.
I'll definitely check that. Wait,
Yeah.
what's that? What? I don't know if I get that one.
Fill in the blank.
I'll definitely
Your
check.
band, your
Oh,
album,
okay.
that song. We all do that. Jesus.
Yeah, that's
why I
awesome.
always tell you, if you want me to listen to something, you better send me a link, because
Yo, I try to listen to everything everybody says.
I do
honestly.
too, but
Like,
there's so much
there's
that
so
comes
many
in that like I
talented
don't
people.
have time to search for that stuff, man.
Sure, yeah.
But if I don't get links, then I end up being that guy. I'll definitely check that out, and I don't remember.
What?
I don't remember what to look for.
What is that? Cafes. I don't know if I understand that one. Don't teach your grandmother to suck eggs.
What is that?
I don't know. Did we miss something? Oh, Capros keep messing. I missed these old Calvin Klein, Calvin and his Hitchhikers. Oh yeah, the Spotify video. Yep, that was like a video podcast. That's what I was going for. Thanks, Cafes. Yeah, I was thinking about getting some locals on here. I just was kind of tapping my own friend circle for a minute, and then I might start reaching out to people. I don't know.
Catface. I don't know where that saying comes from, but it's the
Can I
imagery.
play a few songs while you guys are on
The
break?
imagery just it's fucking up my mind.
Yeah, dude. I like that one, Chris and Tommy. Yeah, that's funny too when people come up to you like after a show or like they're not even like scheduled and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play a couple songs, man."
Yeah, no.
Yep, that's a good one too, Skiz. I've been listening to them way back before their first show. Sean, my buddy Sean had one too. He said, he's like, nah, that album sucks. You gotta listen to like their first album.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That whole shit. It's funny. Oh well, our drummer is such a nice guy, and he always said, "Okay, yeah." That's usually what's happened too. Like I remember, that's why we like told that guy at that show, like fuck off, you know, because we would do that, or my drummer would do that, and stuff would get broken, you know, like cymbals, stand. I don't know, just like heads. It only takes like the wrong person to put their fucking foot through your
Well,
kick drum head.
we played a show an hour away from home, and one of the bands that was going to play after us traveled less than 15 minutes to get to the show, and they came without a drum kit. And as we were leaving the performance area, I won't say stage, the place where performances happen.
Where was this one? This was recently.
This was in Newburgh.
Yeah.
This was with Jen still drumming. The guy came up to her, and he's like, same thing. Like, oh, great set. Yeah, drums sound sick. Is it cool if I use them? Like, I didn't even let her answer. I stepped back. I was like, nah, man. Where the fuck's your drum kit?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I thought I was using this one. Nobody asked us about that, so I don't
Yeah.
know. Where's your drums? You came from fucking Beacon. We came from Sargady's homes. It's like,
Yeah.
that's a 40-minute difference, so what's your excuse?
Right.
So my man, like, pieced together a borrowed drum set out of what people would loan him, cymbals and shells. And then nobody had a drum throne that they'd let him use, so he ended up playing on, like, a fucking wooden chair, playing drums.
I've seen that.
Oh, my God. Like, you know,
Well,
what kind of fucking half-ass dude are you? You show up without your shit, man.
it's one thing if a venue has a back line.
Yeah, this is
established
not a
back
venue
line.
that has a back line.
But like even venues that have back lines, like you gotta know that back line, usually the drums is gonna be in some form of disrepair. And if you're coming in blind, I don't know, man. I think you're just fucking dumb. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I think I don't know. I hate when people do that shit, and I used to feel guilty about not letting them use it,
No,
and then I just realized
that's the wrong
like,
that's
yeah.
the wrong thinking, man. Like, you spent your time to generate the money that paid for that shit.
Yeah, and to get it
And
there.
so therefore, that's your shit.
Yeah.
So once you have your shit and you put it in your vehicle, you travel it to wherever it is that you're going to play. You use it for your purposes. It is there for your purposes.
Yeah.
You put it back in your vehicle, you travel your shit back to where it came from, and you load it back in there.
Right.
That's done. That is your involvement with your equipment. So everybody else can fuck right off.
Yeah.
Tough shit. You didn't bring drums, fucking I guess you're not playing.
Yeah.
Sounds like an acapella show for you, like they're talking about in there. Come without cabinets and no drums, that's definitely a fucking acapella show. I don't know, you better have something worked out, because I hope you know how to sing like 6-part harmonies, because it ain't gonna be much of a death metal show, but it'll work.
Dude, I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, I remember I borrowed your amp before for some shared bills, like, and that's something we agreed to beforehand.
And that kind of shit I don't care about.
Yeah.
What bothers me is when people I don't fucking know,
Yeah.
who didn't reach out before the show, even though they had 2 months advance on it, or who come from right around the corner from the venue,
Yeah.
doesn't show up with their own shit. And then if you're nice enough to let them borrow your shit, they don't help you set it up. They don't help you carry it in or out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like,
And I feel like 5 times out of 10, one time, well, not every other time, but one out of every couple times, something comes back a little fucky. That's been my experience.
I don't know.
Shit's broken. I've seen people literally put their fucking foot through my drummer's kick drum, and then that was before we even played. And then we're fucked.
Yeah, well then that leaves you borrowing a kick drum from somebody else.
Yeah, I think we wound up just turning it around and using the other side.
Yeah, I suppose that would work too, as long as it wasn't ported. But either way, I kind of got used to it because with the studio, everybody pretty much uses my drum kit. Like those heads are pretty beat the fuck up, and
Sure.
I'm not responsible for maybe but 1/10 of that.
Yeah.
That wear, the scratches and stuff in it, mostly not me.
Yeah.
But you know,
That kind of comes with the territory of having
still,
a studio.
when I take that drum kit out to play, though, I don't let anybody else use that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Where's your shit?
Yeah.
I don't give a flying fuck. You show up with like 112 cabinets and a fucking kick and snare.
Yeah.
That's what you brought. Tough shit.
Yeah.
Bring what it is that you anticipate
That's you
needing,
Yeah.
or don't come.
Or be prepared to play acoustic with and sing.
Well, I filled in for a punk band one night in Kingston, playing drums, and the band that they were opening for was on tour, and we got done, and the woman who was playing drums came up, and she's like, "Oh, those shells are sweet. Can I use them?" I'm like, "Nah, man. Like, where's your drum kit?"
Yeah, you're on tour?
Yeah, she didn't have a fucking drum kit.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, we're touring in like a small van." Sounds like you need to take bottom heads off of shit and figure out how to nest drums in a small van then, because I don't know how the fuck this works in whatever
fucking 3-piece
Connecticut shithole place you come from, but fucking no shit. Like, where's your stuff?
Yeah.
Next thing you're gonna tell me you need sticks and the hi-hats too? Like,
That's such a good one.
fucking
This
kidding
is
me?
such a good one. Thank you, Twin. I think that was Twin's suggestion. Oda, what's up? They said, "Sup family, got my PC back. Glad to have you back."
nice.
We've just been chatting. You asked what have you missed? We were chatting about meeting your idols and why it's sometimes not a good idea, and sometimes it's a really good idea. We talked about microphones. J-Rad had a question about large diaphragms. We were talking about the 688. Chris and Tommy Rock Show was asking about a lot of different things. Catface is bringing up the UK phrase, "Don't teach your grandmother to suck eggs," which I don't know what it means, but I love it.
I'm gonna look that shit up and see if I can find that in context later.
Yeah, we've been talking
There I go,
about
using
the
it again.
pod. Just chilling, my friend. Thank you for coming through. If you have any questions, and then we're just talking recently. I'm working on a script for a new video. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I'm collecting from all musicians and friends and you guys, Task Fam, obviously, and just I was gonna be like, shit musicians say, shit musicians do. Because I've been wanting to. I watched a couple of videos that I thought were really funny, and I kind of want to try my hand at one.
Bobby, I've played with bands that had backing tracks, and I've also mixed bands that had backing tracks. It's kind of lame. It's kind of lame.
I used to play with a backing track. Well, I used to play with a drum machine. I don't know if that counts.
No, this was like additional vocals and
Yeah,
like
right.
ethereal guitar layers behind like
yeah.
I don't know, just all like the shit you should have probably not recorded the song that way if you couldn't do it live.
Right.
But it was like a 5-piece band with like, you know, all these extra motherfuckers on stage doing shit anyway.
Oh, whenever the drunk guy jumps on stage and grabs a mic or steps on your pedal board, that's a good one. Raided the kitchen for pots and pans.
Yeah, teaching. Did you see the thing about the teaching your grandmother to suck eggs? Catface gave us the rundown.
Oh,
That's absolutely what the deal is with a lot of musicians.
okay. Yeah.
Definitely. You know, David, I'll say with the
Okay,
drum
I like
machines
that.
and electronic drum kits, electronic drum kits in a big venue the low end tends to translate really well through the PA system because the sounds are so controlled. So I don't personally dislike that, but mansplaining before mansplaining was a term. Didn't mansplaining just become a term like 8 months ago or something? I feel like that only just cropped up in
On tour with no
at least
equipment.
on my radar.
Yeah, I think it's taken on a variety of forms now. Mansplaining.
I thought mansplaining, basically, it seems like if you're a dude and you're trying to explain something to a female, you could easily be accused of that, even if you weren't trying to be condescending
Well,
about
yeah,
it.
and I think it's specifically too if it's like exactly what cafes the expression is like if you try to explain to like a woman like I don't
Yeah.
know I feel like I'm already mansplaining but like
I don't know.
something that's like I
I
don't know
just-
the first thing that comes to mind is like
I just don't teach them shit. I don't talk to them about shit.
Right.
Like, how's the weather? Oh, lovely. Thank you. I'll have coffee. And
That's the way to do it, man.
I just don't get
That's the
involved
way
because
to do
everybody's
it.
so fucking triggered about every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Be accused of mansplaining some shit. Like,
I think it's exactly what cafes is saying. You know, it's like if there's something that's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of an example that's not gonna
I don't know.
potentially offend people, but
yeah, I have no idea. But there's so many like trigger things in the world now that like it's so much easier to just not talk to fucking
like this is
anybody
a
about
stupid
anything.
example, but it's like if you're like a dude and you're trying to explain to like a woman who's had a child like what childbirth is like that's
Well,
like mansplaining.
that would be fucking.
At least that's my understanding.
You know,
of what it
I'm
is.
sure
I
that
don't know.
probably
like I would never do.
happens, but like whoever.
Well, that's the problem is
fucking
that there's
idiots
these
are that are
fucking
doing that kind of
dumbasses
shit.
doing
Like,
that
what
kind
are
of
you
shit, and then
doing?
it becomes a thing, and then everybody says it about anything, and then it
Yeah.
becomes like way overused. Because not everybody's that dumb. That's why, like you said, man, I think the best course of action is just, hey, how you
Jesus
doing?
Christ.
Oh yeah, it's nice out. Okay, hey, all right, I'll see you later.
Fantastic.
I don't fucking deal with anybody anymore
Oh
if I
my
don't know
God.
them. It's not worth it.
Like, I often think about that in interactions, though. Like, if someone, female, for instance, were to have a flat tire, let's say, and you were to explain to them how to change that flat tire, would you then be mansplaining it
No,
if they didn't know how to change the tire?
no,
See, I'm thoroughly confused about this. I don't
I
really
don't think
know.
so. I don't
I'm sure
think
I'm
so.
guilty of it in some context, but I'm just not really sure how it applies.
I think it's
But
something
anyway,
that
that's
the
a
other
whole
person
thing.
is. It's either like culturally relevant to that person, or it's something to do with part of their personality that is like void or devoid of like being a guy or being a man, and then
Mm.
you trying to explain something about something they already know about that has to do with them and nothing to do with you. I don't know. I don't know what it is either. We should just look up on Urban Dictionary right now. We're learning a lot tonight, Taz.
Jesus.
All right. Okay, so this should help us. Let's see.
Bobby, I assume you're
Oh,
asking me if triggers on drum kits are cool with me. I'm not a big triggers guy, but honestly, like, you know, if drummer comes in, especially in a live setting, that happens. You know, you'll have drummers that insist on using a kick trigger because it's the only way they can get, you know, fast 30-second notes out of their kick pedal set this far from the kick drum head for their bullshit death metal band or whatever. Then I'd absolutely mix triggers. It's not my favorite thing, but it can sound fine. And sometimes fine is good enough. In the studio, I would not ever use a trigger on a drum for anything but opening or closing a gate. Yeah, they don't belong in the recording process in their intended capacity at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm feeling these suggestions. You guys are kind of twin. Make sure you put your cord through the strap the cool way, or like the way that because people will like dog on you if you like forget to put your strap with like strain relief, or you know.
I always do that so I don't fucking step on it. Cause
no, I know,
I've
but
broken like infinity jacks on that guitar
right.
by not putting it through there.
Now, if you have a this is a question I want to ask you. If you have like a right angle end on your cable, do you have to do that still?
It depends where. Well, I mean,
because you could still step on that fucker and rip it.
Yeah, but it strain relieves the end a bit doing it that way. What it does for me is when I have the guitar on, the cord would normally hang down like in front of this foot, which gets in the way of pedal switching.
Yeah.
With the guitar on the way that I stand, the cord comes down just behind my ass, and then it goes off and does its thing back to the pedal board. So that's why I like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't get wrapped in my feet. It's not, you know, problematic. But before I figured that trick out, it used to just hang, and then I used to step on it and rip the fucking cable out of the ends all the time.
For sure.
Or break the jack. So, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really provide that much strain relief. Could be enough to just save a cheap cable, maybe. I don't know.
But... drum machines, you were talking about that, right, in live settings. I tend to like certain electronic drums on recordings myself, too. I know Jay would disagree. I like live drums, though, too. I wind up just using those out of necessity because I've always lived in a place where
Nick Smith,
I can't play blast beats.
What is cringy?
Oh, maybe mansplaining.
I don't know. Maybe.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for coming through. Nick asks, are guitar compression pedals worth it?
Really depends on what it is that you want out of your guitar that you're not getting.
Yeah.
If your pick dynamic is such that the attack is somehow problematic for your sound, then I would go with compression. If you're just looking for it to fatten things up and push it out a little bit, which is what like the Dynacomp was doing for me for a while, I would say go without it, because honestly the playing dynamic is better without it in line.
Yeah, I've used the compression pedal in the past. I think I had a Dynacomp at one time, and I think because of the way that I played it, didn't really. Well, too, if you play with distortion or overdrive, there's like inherent compression in a distorted signal. So I don't know. I never it's kind of like stacking it. Never made sense for me. So I guess it depends on maybe the type of music you're playing. But I've heard some people swear by them in terms of like maybe soloing or like leads. But like I think it depends on the kind of stuff you play.
The leads would be the opposite place I would want that shit. Because if you think about what compression does,
not a speed metal band, but they're like not a local band. It's like it's not. I don't know. It's like I don't know. The guy swore by it, but like I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess I would say it depends on the type of stuff you're doing. Because like for my setup particularly, I play a lot of like fuzzed out stuff and just clean loud, or clean distorted, and
with super fuzzed out, you don't need compression anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It was redundant, and it was because I was always like I wanted to try it out. I had gotten one in the lot at one point. I was buying some pedals years ago, and I guess it depends on the pedal. But yeah, I think in general, I don't know. What was the Tasman thing? Any of you guys have any experience using them?
Best cheap fuzz pedal, Big Muff. Can't go wrong with a big muff. You can find them for like $35. If you need something more brutal than that, then come back and see us.
Oh yeah, that's what Catface was saying too.
Yeah.
And then you put it at the front of your chain.
Yeah, that's how I was using
airplane,
mine. It was before the tuner and everything.
Right.
Just because that's where I had room. But the parallel compression thing in the Fender compressor pedals, that probably is pretty cool. I don't know how that would
does
serve
sound
with
cool.
guitar, but it'd be probably pretty interesting to play with. Bobby asked, when mixing in drums, what do you recommend? I asked because of my recordings, the kick gets lost and the snare doesn't have the pop snap. So, in your kick, are you rolling off all of the high-end information, the attack of the drum? That would be where I would look. I would make sure that that drum has some of the high-mid information and high-end information still intact so that you have some attack. Because while everybody thinks a kick is a low-end womp womp kind of sound,
you need that click in there
it
too.
needs some attack to have any definition, or else it's just it's a brown note hanging out underneath the track. With the
what
snare
kind of
drum,
beater are you using too? Like
yeah, with the snare drum, if you're losing the pop in the snare drum, look for a boost in the 2K range if you can articulate that. However you're recording. And if that doesn't help you, try rolling off some of the low end information and see if that cleans the signal up some.
it's compression too, no?
Well,
You're looking for like
it depends on how it is that you're recording, though. Are we talking, do we have plugins and shit available, or is this cassette?
This is
I'm
cassette,
assuming,
right.
I'm talking from the standpoint of cassette. I would just play with EQ and try to make sure that you're getting enough attack out of the kick drum.
also like 'cause you do a lot of like rim shots too, right? Like
Me,
yeah,
personally,
yeah.
when I play, almost everything's a rim shot. I play with
Yeah.
the snare tipped just slightly away from me so that I can get
Well,
that.
I feel like that helps like that adds like a lot of
It does, but mic placement is a whole lot easier solution than trying to make your drummer play rim shots on every hit.
Sure, I guess I was just going back to the source, Like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of this stuff I think, because I know like a big difference that made for me on kick drum was changing the beater that I had because I was using like a felt one. I changed it to like a wooden one. That made a big difference.
Go either wood or hard plastic.
You
Also,
need that click is what really I found in the stuff that I've been mixing lately.
Yeah.
The click is really what
it defines the drum.
defines it, and it's like where your ear goes to, and then it like allows you to hear the rest of it. If that makes sense.
The other thing with kick drums is how you mic it. A ported drum, most engineers have the outlook that you want to stick the mic half in, half out, like you always see in live sound situations, because it's a balance of both things. You get attack and you get body. That's not always the solution for the studio. Sometimes you want to be like inside the drum, halfway between the heads. Maybe looking at the shell a little to get away from the attack, or looking towards the beater to get more of the attack. Playing with that position, even in small increments, can make a big difference when it comes to what that kick drum sounds like in the end. And if you really can't get the attack out of it, then add another mic out of phase on the other side of the drum looking at the beater, and take that first mic and put it half in and half out of the hole so that you get better low end.
Yeah.
But with the kick and the snare both, it's going to come down to mic placement, performance and then mic placement, I guess. But I think the two could be on the same level in the argument. And then it's going to come down to how you EQ that. A little boost in bottom end on the snare can be really nice, but if you're already having trouble with finding the snare definition, then I wouldn't get too crazy doing that. And the same with the kick drum, you want it to be super thumpy, because that's what we all have sort of been groomed to do with kick drums, but you got to make sure it's got that, that attack.
Oh, look, Catface just said Albini uses a lapel mic dangling down the pedal.
Yep.
That's actually, Jay and I, we were at the studio today and working on something, a video, and that was actually something that came up, and because we were using a lapel mic to record some drums, so that's really ironic.
He has a Sony Electret, and there's some I think it's like a, I want to say it's like Country Star lapel or some shit like that. Some weird fucking thing.
Sure, you think it's
It's
on
really
the site?
stupid. It is. It's stupid fucking expensive though. I was looking for one.
I remember you saying that it was like it's like a K, right? For like a fucking
Yeah, for like,
yeah.
well, just about any mic that he puts on the kits, other than the RE20. You know, most of that shit starts in the 900 to 1,000 range. The stuff he's fucking with.
Oh geez, I thought he used some like Bayer stuff. That was like,
He's got like the Josephson custom side address mini condenser tom mics that were designed for him specifically.
whoa.
Those I
Okay.
think are $1,200 a piece.
Whoa.
There's 4 of them minimum on each session. I mean,
Wow.
he's using Lomos on the room and the back mics and the low floor mics and shit. He's not fucking around. That's expensive stuff.
Oh, Matt said I've used a Keeley 4-knob comp. That was something we were talking about before.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard that one's good too. I don't know. Track light, what up? What's the question? We've been talking about a couple different things. Kick drum, mixing in a kick drum click, or making sure that the kick and snare are, don't get lost in the mix, or pop, the snares pop snapping. We've been talking about a couple different things.
Bobby, I'd be careful in that 5K range though, because too much 5K on top of the snare in a lot of cases make that thing sound really papery, and that's about it. It'd be real easy to lose it in a guitar track. In a lot of cases, also
Yeah, because there's a lot of other stuff in that range too.
tons.
Uh,
That's a very tricky spot in the spectrum. That's why, like, if I'm gonna boost anything in the top of the drums looking for attack, it's usually in the 2K-ish range. Not only is that fairly standard,
For
you
the
know,
kick- the kick
1800
beater,
to,
yeah.
to 2400, to 2.4, somewhere in there.
Oh, Nick Smith had a question. Maybe you guys can help field this one because I don't have too much experience with the 8-track Tascams. I have an 8-track Tascam 488 Mark II from the 90s. This is superior to a 424, not so much. I guess it depends what you're looking to use it for, Nick. That one has like, you can do 8 tracks at once. It has a different type of technology. It's like, I don't know, technology Tascam developed so that you could get another 4 tracks out of a regular cassette. I think that I don't know. I'm not really sure how they sound. I'd love to get my hands on one. Do you have any? Have you ever used anything like that? Those 8-track machines, 8-track cassette machines?
No.
Because I wonder about what the sound difference is between them. But I guess if you're looking to do a higher track count without having to bounce as much, it's superior. I don't know. I'd have to try one out personally, but I never really had one, and I just like the 424 stuff. That's Mark III. That's always the one I used, and got some nostalgia value. But it's superior in terms of the track count. Depends what the sound quality is. Have to compare them, but I'd say that's a pretty dope machine.
Catface, that's a very interesting link that you put up. I wasn't even aware of this company, I don't think.
What is this? Advanced Audio Canada. They got a clone of the RE20, huh?
Yeah.
Countryman ISOMAX 2 is the
I knew it was something like that. Country Star, Countryman, whatever. Shoot me, would you?
Matt says like go easy on post EQing because I tend to map out where each part will sit. That's a great way to do it too. Before you even start tracking, yeah, hell yeah, Matt.
So these are drum tracks and not acoustic drums?
Oh, it's almost too clean. Doesn't sound lo-fi enough. Almost. It's all at double speed, so can't play the cassettes back. Yeah, yeah, you won't be able to play them back if the speed. Oh, that's why. So try Nick lowering the speed. Maybe it'll sound more lo-fi for you because as the speed's up, the tape's going faster, and that the idea of like having the tape go faster is to eliminate some of the hiss from the tape. So if you're wanting to if it's too clean, try slowing the tape down.
Yeah.
I don't know what the settings on that one are though. I'll look it up real quick.
So, Bobby, those drum tracks, though, you're using somebody's sample pack, I'm guessing. Usually the sample packs are recorded in a quote-unquote acoustically correct environment. And that sounds funny, but
Well,
acoustically
I was
correct.
thinking about
It's highly variable.
The drum
but-
packs that I've been making for the Digitakt. I mean, I haven't been, it's just in Hapro's studio, but
But the so the samples in drum packs, even going back to like the old school shit, like all the Alesis things and all that stuff, like those were at some point real drums that were sampled and oversampled and reverbed and
yeah,
whatever. And what happens when what tends to happen when you put those in a mix is the more you do to them, the worse they get. So like when I record things with the drum machine, usually I don't really fuck with it too much. I might roll out some like low mid stuff to seat the bass, make a hole for the bass, but the more you fuck with those, the smaller they get, and they get that way in a hurry. So going back
I tend
to
to find
flat,
that's why I like using them too, is because if you find one that you like I used to really like the Lin 9000 drum machine samples, just because they sounded cool, just like
Bobby, I'm not saying don't EQ them. I mean, it really depends on the mix you're making, but I would start. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Matt here. I would build the track around the drums, and that's how my mixes always go. I start with the rhythm section, and I build up from there anyway.
Yeah, same here.
Even if I track the record live, I'm still starting the mix from basically the ground floor. You got to have that ground floor.
I don't know if it's common. I mean, I guess it's pretty common knowledge, but like I feel like what usually dictates the best sounding recordings that I've ever made were the drum tracks.
Yeah.
Like that really.
Oh, I've said it before. The drum tracks are what sets the expanse of the whole soundstage of the fucking thing.
And I feel like the drums set the quality of a track as well. Like I don't know.
Can, sure.
Like if the drums don't sound good, the recording's not going to sound good. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Did I link the new recording last week?
I think you did. Yeah, I don't know if you did link the mastered version.
No, I know I didn't link the mastered version.
Nick, one more other thing, follow up on that 488. I would say try recording at a slower speed and also with the pitch knob down. That might help you out.
Catface, that's good info on the ISO max. I'll have to check that out.
Oh, 200. Okay, that sounds like it's going to be in Jay's mic locker very soon.
No, I still wouldn't spend 200 on a lapel mic, but that's a lot more encouraging.
You can have one of those ones I got.
No, when I do a beater mic like that, I use a small diaphragm pencil condenser. I have some Audix. I think they're like F15s. They're basically useless for anything other than that position. And you track that, and then you compress it, and you get the kick sound basically on the new Surmiser single.
Dope. Which Audix did you say those were?
F15, 1.5.
Have you
you
have some of the Audix stuff?
Yeah.
Which ones do you like? Just out of curiosity.
I like the i5 on the snare. It's kind of cool on the guitar sometimes.
I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
I do not like the D6 kick mic. The studio that I was working in for a while had one.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, same here.
These
like,
mics, the F15 is sort of like a beginner fucking XY overhead or a hat mic kind of thing.
Yeah.
They sound okay, but they're not greatly articulate.
Clear hi-hat, cymbal, and overhead applications.
Yeah. And they suck with lower ceilings. But as a beater side kick mic, they're fucking sweet, and you get a little bit of the under snare sizzle out of it. Yeah, I sold you that track.
Yeah,
that's compressed as shit. That's like, I think that's like fucking 30-1 or something.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's smashed. It's fucking smashed.
Yeah, I think I saw this one at the studio. You had it out. Yeah,
I use that on snare a lot.
I've heard really, really good things about the i5. I don't know if anyone in the chat, any TAS fans, use this one.
I used the i5 for years as my snare mic, and I only have recently gone back to the 57 just because I got tired of listening to the i5.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens. Is like you use a mic for long enough, you get used to how it sounds, and then you're like, I don't really like how this sounds anymore.
Yeah, the 57 still does a little something that the i5 doesn't do, but the i5 has a better low mid thing that the 57 can't quite match. Like if you could combine the ideas of those two things, it'd be perfect. But I don't know.
Here you go, Countryman mic.
There it is.
I think Aaron said they have an i5. Nice. Yeah, I was. At one point I was looking into getting one of those just because I heard pretty much exactly what you had said, Jay, about swapping them with it for the snare with a 57.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was.
But they're cool on a guitar cab too. I mean, I have no
Yeah,
complaints about
yeah.
the
I heard they were
i5s
like a
on there.
pretty good, not all around kind of mic, but you could use it on a lot of different things.
Sure.
I don't know. I think most people would, I don't know, like to have that kind of. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think it's awesome when you have a mic that can be used on not just one thing. You know.
Have I used the i5 and the 57 in a blend? On a guitar cabinet, I have. I have not tried it on a snare drum, mostly because my real estate around the snare drum tends to be pretty limited. But not opposed to the idea, certainly.
Oh yeah, Aaron said I used the i5 on guitar and snare.
Yep.
I ended up getting Audio Technica Pro 63. Cool. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, the Audio Technica stuff's not bad.
Technica, what is it? Thing 63.
Pro 63.
Pro 63. Oh, cool. Another, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, well, not this mic. I just mean, like I did that review of the Fifine K8 that I got.
Yeah.
Like that's another like cheaper mic. Like for what
Well,
that is,
what
and
is
what
that
you
mic?
get, it's like.
But that's cardioid. Whereas the 57 and the i5 are unidirectional.
Oh, okay.
So you're picking up a whole bunch of extra shit with that mic if you're not super careful about how you place it. I would suspect you get a lot of hat bleed out of that one. But not unfunctional.
Reduces pickup from sides and rear.
Hmm.
Is that? Oh, here's Capro.
How you doing, buddy? Meow. Hi. What are you doing?
I'm getting hungry.
Oh, it's almost his dinner time.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but he thinks it is.
Yeah.
Oh. Meow. What are you doing? What are you doing? You gonna come up and say hi? Come on. No? Nope. Not gonna do that.
Capro's chatting.
Come on.
Yeah, he said, "Yo, come on, bro.
Come on.
I can pick him up.
Not happening, huh?
I'll pick him up, and then he'll jump from me to you. I bet. Here he is, the man of the hour. It's Capro. Oh, look, he's getting right up close.
Hamming it. Hamming it.
What's up, dude?
Wait and see what he's
Oh,
gonna do next.
Aaron said I guess the Pro 63. Twin said, "Careful, boys, I'm driving." Used it. Ultimate Stu said he's using it for snare on a video, so I tried it out. Doesn't sound wildly different than the i5.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, because the i5 is a little bit more expensive than that one, right?
I have no idea. When I bought the i5, it was fucking
It was
years
a lot
ago.
cheaper, I think. Well, it seems like it went up because it looked like the i5 was like $200 or $100.
Hmm.
He's like trying to swat me over here. Yeah, that's not too bad. I feel like that's a pretty good range. Cool. Well, if there's any other last questions, we're at the 9 o'clock hour. We've been going hard for about 2 hours, so it's usually about when we wrap it. Glad to see a lot of returning old faces. The Taft family. We got some new peeps coming through. Aaron, Oda was back. Nick Smith. Yeah, it was good to see everybody. Shouting out Bobby. We got Matt, Cafes, David, Twin, Coop. The Task fam's all here. We're seeing a lot of the old characters popping in. Good to see all y'all. I'm sorry if I missed me. Oh yeah, Chris and Tommy came through. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys had a great week, and I hope you guys have another great week. And yeah. This has been a fun talk, man. I feel like we've been
Sort of all over the place.
all over, but it's fun. Aaron's coming through with some hard questions.
Yeah.
If you make a decision based on your beliefs, do you really have free will? I don't know. We'll have to think about that one. Thanks, Bobby. Oh, we'll have to think about that one, Aaron. But
I'm actually not sure that free will is really anything more than a theory, because it's the human condition to believe things. Given that instance, I think.
But I mean, I guess if you're making a decision based on your beliefs, I would say you do have free will because you're choosing to have those beliefs.
But then the system of beliefs that you believe in tells you how to think. So you no longer have free will.
Oh, so it's like one of those
Chicken and the egg.
Yeah,
Chicken and the fucking
that's a
egg.
good one. That's a good one, Aaron.
Revolution of the planets. Yeah, I say keep Will locked up. I don't know.
Oh, space alien Jesus, what's going on? Hey, do you ever do tape looping? No, that's something I've been wanting to do. Free will. Will is innocent. Nice.
We just had a breakthrough on the stream, folks.
Yeah, that's
Chicken
it.
and the egg.
That's it. That's just it. It was already determined before I thought of it before.
Here we go.
Do you ever do tape looping?
No.
No, I've been meaning to. Space Alien Jesus. I'm gonna do something with that before the summer is up. I've been wanting to make a loop tape, and start messing around with that. So I was actually talking with Vincenti. On,
the infinite bounce results also.
oh, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Thank you for reminding me, Cafes. So I don't know if you guys checked out that infinite. If you took a journey with us into the infinite on Monday, you can check it out. It's the infinite ping pong video. I think 2 streams ago or last stream we were talking about, how many bounces can you do? Because there was some. I remember reading an article I think with John Vanderslice, who's like a 4-tracker, and he's got like a analog studio. There goes Capro. And he was talking about how, like, technically a 4-track has an infinite amount of tracks on it because you can continue to just keep bouncing. You could potentially continue to just bounce each generation as long as you leave a track open. But the give and take with that is that obviously, if you heard in the infinite ping pong video, after a certain amount of generations, it becomes,
Turns into shite.
Yeah. So the results of the I gotta find the video because I didn't do my homework on this. But yeah, I don't know if some of you guys remember. I think Jay, do you remember what yours was?
I thought I said 10, but I can't really remember.
I think you did. I think Twin said 20. Where is it? Cafes. I don't remember what. I think I said. I think I was in like the 10 area too. Let's see. We're gonna look at the chat right now from last week.
I think Catface was in the ballpark.
I think so too. Yeah. Well, got to mention that Catface's suggestion via the Patreon producer level. So appreciate you, my friend, because we were asking about that whole idea of, I think, how many bounces there's too many, or how many times can you bounce without it becoming super unlistenable, and that's kind of where we got to. All right, so I'm just looking through the chat to see who won. Must have been past this. Because somebody said 20, which I think was Twin. Like, I want to see what... I really want to hear what it sounds like if you go 20 deep bounces. I gave up on 7 in the video just because it was getting to a point where, I don't know, I just could not... I couldn't keep coming up with ideas, and also it was just getting sorted. Yo, this is hard to find this. Oh, because it's on. I didn't do my homework. I'm sorry. don't know what. Why was I playing guitar last week? I don't even remember that.
I don't remember that either. Is that the right one?
Yeah, 45. That would have been last week.
Hmm.
What's going on? Everybody's like,
Things you can't unhear.
I don't know. I get.
Cafe said, "Did you stop at each bounce generation to mix down the tracks?"
Like, save them, you mean? I was definitely mixing it as I was going, but I didn't save each bounce. I was just kind of going on the fly. But I could easily do it again.
So I guess the answer to that is no.
Well, I was mixing it. Like I would stop at each after I recorded
Right.
everything and listen to it through the monitors, listen to headphones, and like say like, okay, like this sounds pretty good. And then if it didn't, I would redo it, and
Twin said, "I wonder how 424 bounces would sound." Oh my god.
maybe,
It would sound
we'll
like
do
this.
that.
That's what it sounded like. That's it.
I thought this was gonna be easy to find this, but I'm basically going through the stream from last week and looking at the chat to see if I could find where we were talking about. I thought it was going to be easier. I should have just
It's towards the end, wasn't
written
it?
them down. Yeah, I'm like right at the end right now. That was a fun stream. We were talking about like jazz masters and stuff. I don't know. I might have to announce it next week. I blew it.
Holy shit.
I blew it. I blew it, guys. What?
Bobby said that sounds like Sonic Youth's washing machine album. Oh man. Did you find it?
No.
No.
We'll have to announce it next week.
I didn't
Cafes.
screenshot that shit, did I?
You know, I thought I was gonna have a time to look back through this before the stream tonight, and I didn't write it down. I completely slipped my mind, so I apologize. I want to know who won though. I know a couple people said. I know somebody said 5. I know somebody said 10. I know somebody said 20, and I think somebody did say 7 or 8. Maybe you said 8, Jay.
I don't think so. I was pretty sure I said 10.
I think whoever said 8 or 9, somebody said 8 or 9. I think that's definitely the winner. Obviously, I could have kept going at Gen 7.
I don't know what we're giving away anyway, so.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we're gonna. It was just more of like a gentleman's or like a gentle person's agreement that we were gonna. I think you did guess 7. Oh, you guys are coming through with some here. Yeah, Cafe said 7. 7 is definitely the winner. Bounce, baby, bounce. Like, make a video of a tape loop. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right, I will try to find that part of the chat this week. I'll skim through it. I got some time tomorrow, and we'll definitely announce the winner next stream. I know it's another week, but yeah. Well, we could always do more though. I want to do. I like that idea of the 424 bounces.
Space Alien Jesus asked, top 5 albums or musicians that influenced you to play music.
Oh, did we have that last year? I'm a gentleman, not a gentle person.
Top 5 albums and musicians that influenced you to
Conceptual.
play music.
Yeah, I did everything on the 424. Yeah, it would have been pretty brutal. Top 5 albums or musicians that influenced you to play music. That's interesting. Last week I was talking about like some of the like K Records stuff that I enjoyed, like Halo Benders, was like Built to Spill a lot. Spoon is a band I always really enjoyed. Obviously Beck, Flaming Lips when I was younger.
I can remember the first 5 records I
Bowie
owned,
for sure.
if that helps.
Yeah, what are those?
The first 5 records I owned.
Yeah, let's do it.
Michael Jackson's Bad.
Nice. That's perfect for you.
Had a Tears for Fears record. I think
Nice.
it's songs from the Big Chair. Shout
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
and it had a Madonna record, but I can't remember which one. Those are the first three I remember having. And then I had a cassette of my parents. It was Alabama. I can't remember the name of the record though. The beginning of the tape was like, "I see that mountain over there. Someday I'm gonna climb that mountain." It's a song about like playing baseball with shirt rocks. Um, yeah, that's about as deep as I can remember until I hit like Nirvana and shit.
Yeah, obviously Nirvana for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Although for a while I had like all the Motley Crue records on tape. Used to listen to a lot of that shit. I think I was like
Yeah.
10 or 11 listening to that and Guns N'
oh
Roses.
yeah, I
and
mean,
shit.
when I was the stuff I was first, like one of the first bands I ever listened to, like that was like, I remember feeling like it was my thing. Was Black Sabbath. Like that was a
Yeah.
band I was like obsessed with when I was a young Mike.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, like Paranoid. Oh my god, I love that
James
fucking album.
Doctor, welcome. Yeah, the Alabama, play me some mountain music. I don't. Yeah, that was one. That was the song. I don't know if that was that the record, the title track to that record, but either way. Also
Nice.
had
You run marathons with Aaron.
Creedence Clearwater Revival's Greatest Hits was another one that came through real early on. And yeah, it was a pretty weird fucking mix, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the first things I think I've explained this or told this story. Like one of the first things I ever listened to. I think I was like 5, and I listened to. My mom had an old like boombox, and she had Billy Joel, William Joel. Um,
William Joel.
yeah, and I can't think of the album but it was
The one where he sings about being from New York somewhere. I mean, that's everyone.
no, it was I'll know it as soon as I see it, because it was, let's see, oh, they don't have his albums. It was the one with Big Shot on it. Oh, 52nd Street. So yeah, so like I remember vividly listening to the tape of 52nd Street and just replaying Big Shot like over and over again. And like I said, I must have been like 5, and I remember being really young and I had like headphones on, and it was like, no, maybe there wasn't headphones, just the boombox. I gotta see if I can find this boombox in this tape, but I remember so vividly the lines where he's like, your eyes, you wake up in the morning with your head on fire and your eyes too bloody to see. Like that visual of that, I remember it was like this like cartoony, like Schoolhouse Rock, like imaginary, like almost as if I was like high as a 5-year-old, like listening to music. Like the imagery of those two things, like your eyes too bloody to see and your head on fire, was like some of the most vivid visuals I think I've ever experienced. Yeah, so like that was
One of the first songs.
I don't know if that like what that did to me, but yeah.
One of the first songs I remember having that feeling about was "Jukebox Hero" by Foreigner.
Oh, nice.
And I remember being a little fucking kid and hearing that in my parents' friend's Ford Escort, little shitbox car. And I heard that we were on the way to, I think it was called Pizza Inn. It was in Raleigh at that time. And they had like a Space Invaders. I think it was Space Invaders. It was like, they used to have these arcade games where like you versed the other player, but the screen was like horizontal in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Like
talking
Pac-Man,
about?
yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
those.
and you would like sit at that and you had the
yeah,
joystick and the
and there's
fucking
like
buttons and
glass
shit.
top,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you like
yeah,
played
yeah.
underneath it sort of.
I remember going in there and like the pizza and shit, and like there were kids like banging on that thing, and fucking quarters everywhere and shit. It was like, you know, it was
Yeah.
probably, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5, something like that. But so not the same kind of mental imagery, but every time I hear that song, I
yeah,
think
you
of
take
that.
you're back to that.
I
That's
think
the
of that
same-
pizza place in like
the same,
1980
man.
fucking 4 or whatever.
Same thing, man. Like it's funny. It's funny how those early experiences are just things you remember forever. Like even if it's not music related, but I think because it's music related, there's like a it's super easy to recall.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know the Nevsky Project, James Doctor.
oh, I missed some chat.
Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. Yeah, I used to really like Pantera a lot. Like in the, I don't know, late 90s, I guess. I had a lot of friends that were into that. And, like, there were some really fucking, I want to kick somebody's ass songs on those records.
Nice. Ben Folds 5. I used to listen to them a lot too.
Yeah, I like them too. Beastie Boys, License
Beastie
to Ill.
Boys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Beastie. Oh yeah, definitely Beastie Boys, man. That was like, I was listening. I mean, I made that song last year too, the Fall Song Challenge, which we're doing again this year for sure.
Oh, word.
But I remember that's like License to Ill. Oh my god, yeah, that one was.
Bobby, I definitely remember
That is
cassette
still
singles.
so fucking fresh. Like that album, I don't know. It sounds. I don't know. It's like almost timeless. It's so crazy.
I found out that the guy who plays drums in Shadow Witch,
Oh, are they recording with you?
they are.
Cool.
That's a end of September thing, it sounds like.
Nice.
But Dougie Beans is the guy who plays drums for them now. He was the drummer for Murphy's Law for fucking years. And he also was on the, there's a thing called the Brooklyn Sessions, I think it's called. It was Adam from Beastie Boys, at least one dude from Bad Brains, and Doug Beans from Murphy's Law. They formed this band like in around the break after the, I think it was the License to Ill tour. Got me thinking about Beasties.
That's funny, man, because I
So
think
he played with the fucking
in
Beastie
Bistro
Boys.
in
And
town. There's a tour poster that's Murphy's Law and Beastie Boys.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. So that dude was the drummer on a Murphy's Law Beastie Boys mashup
That's fucking
collab
cool,
band
man.
fucking thing. It's crazy, man. I still haven't gotten to listen to it yet. I found out about that when I was like checking background on like what that dude was about, because he's into like old school metal sounds. So I was like trying
Yeah.
to research like where he
Where
would
is
have
this
come
guy?
from.
Yeah, yeah.
And what kind of old school metal sounds he might be thinking of without actually having to ask him directly and seeming like
Yeah.
that guy. I also just said semen. That's bad. Seeming, or without having to seem like that guy. Yeah. So anyway, we're about 20 minutes over now.
Oh shit. Hey, Giant Tree coming through. We saw James Doctor. What up? I'm talking to James a little bit. Nevsky Project. No, I have not heard that. I'll have to check it out though. I'm high as a 5-year-old right now. I miss cassettes. They just look so cool walking into a music store and the walls filled with cassettes. I remember, yeah, when I worked at Tower Records, they had that whole cassette section still. And people, even up until, I mean, I'm sure people are obviously still buying cassettes, but people have always really been into them. Even at that point, I remember when they were like, even though they were kind of relegated to the back room, there was still like people coming through there all the time. All right, well, this is cool. Everybody's coming out with their early experiences. I like Twins' stories here. He's talking about throwing girls out of his car because they South was dad rock.
That's fucked
And
up.
instantly walking away from people for the same reason. Cool. Guys, people, my friends, thank you so much. Space Alien Jesus said the Beatles. It was one of theirs. And then Bowie, Beck, Nirvana, and Tom Waits.
All right, so
So-
all is forgiven. All right, so everybody have a great week. Make sure you do
Yeah.
something you want to do each and every day. Be nice to everybody if you can.
Yeah.
Unless you're me, then be a dick to everyone and apologize a lot later.
Make sure you do
and,
something you want to do.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
did.
a lot
Make sure you
of
do
new
something
faces
you
coming
do
through.
every day.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Good to see you. Good talking with you. Good chatting with you. Good hanging.
Email him 424recording@gmail. Email me operationaudio@gmail. Forum, like, subscribe.
Yeah, like this if you like it. Smash that subscribe
Like
button.
it even if you don't like it.
Yeah.
And just fuck right off. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, we'll catch you next week again.
Yeah.
Same bad time, same
Same
bad
bad channel.
channel, 7 o'clock ish.
And we'll-
Wednesday nights, Eastern
Cafe, so I will
Standard Time.
definitely look through the chat and figure out who won. I believe you did, though. So, peace out, Tass fam. Fuck right off. That's
Fuck right off. All right.
This
Everybody
live
have a
stream
great night.
contains explicit language.
Graphic content.
Graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, peace out, everyone. Have a great night. It was a pleasure hanging, and we'll be back.
Did you just say something about pleasure hanging?